telling a 5-year-old, hey, we got to leave you with grandmom and grandpop because we've got to go to the hospital many, many times. Or, getting ready for Christmas Eve, I remember. And she was the little angel in the pageant, and it was like, he has a fever, we need to go. So.
But you know what, one of the great pictures you're ever going to have is Sammy and Gabriel holding hands. Look at that. Look at that. Boy, oh boy. He's your boyfriend for life.
He's always there.
How about yourself, honey? Any little story you wanted to share about, was it the time you're the little angel in a play?
I was really young when a lot of the really difficult things happened, so I don't remember everything. But there were a lot of holidays and birthdays that we celebrated, like in the hospital and it was unorthodox.
Sure.
So, but it's just the way I grew up, and it was different, but it made us, who we are and built us to be stronger.
And Mom, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but she'll be not only beautiful as she is now, but you know what? You'll be a blessed lady.
Thank you.
You will, and you are. But
I'm very proud of her.
I'm sure you are.
She really has the grace of God, and she's independent, and she's a terrific sister and daughter.
A little chip off the block. It's okay to say that.
Thank you.
But there's joy.
There is joy.
There's always joy. Isn't it marvelous how we come, and that maybe that's the faith, and the crosses and resurrections all the time. What would be some of the joyful times, the happy times that you either put in your book or tell the world or tell all of us?
Well, I think some of the happy times is when we finally got to have a holiday home. It was like, wow, everybody's in bed and we're all still here.
Oh my God.
Trips to Virginia to go visit my sister in the country. Those were just wonderful times. And we used to be hushed about it. We wouldn't talk about it because as soon as we said, oh, we're going somewhere, one of them would mysteriously get a virus and we'd be rerouted to Children's Hospital. One of the biggest events was my sister-in-law, Kathy, Jim's sister, wrote into the live Regis and Kelly Mother's Day Dream Come True. And so out of 11,000 entries, we won the gift in 2005. I won the Mother's Day Dream Come True, and Kelly Ripa.
What is that? What?
It's a. They didn't do it this year, but it was you write in about what mothers want, a dream come true for your mom. And my sister-in-law wrote in about our story and how, about my daughter and the boys. And it was selected. And Kelly Ripa ended up ambushing me at the boys' school. I was there for a meeting. And
Just unexpected?
Just unexpected. She surprised me and brought me in a limousine ride back to my home where they were revamping our backyard. And they also gave us a handicap van, which was just a godsend. Because it used to take us like 45 minutes just to go anywhere, just to carry them to the car, pack them in the car. So the van allowed us to get around a little bit easier, and the backyard was a peace haven for a while.
For a while. Gabriel, how about it yourself? A moment of joy, an experience of knowing God's presence to you?
Like every moment that we had when we were home together, and something that was really special was always hearing the good news of we're going home.
Yeah.
Like James is coming home from the hospital today, and that was just exciting news.
Yeah.
So that was like always a special hooray.
No, those moments are very, very precious.
Yeah.
Sammy, I'm sure you got a moment you can share with us.
Well, my happy moment that I had was when I had my birthday, but it was in the hospital. And I know it kind of sounds sad, but once I was with my family and stuff, I felt more comfortable.
Just being with the family. Isn't that nice?
And as long as all of the staff found him a basketball or a football or some kind of
That's all right.
prop in
That's
the
okay.
corner.
Listen, we need that.
That's
we
right.
need that. You've had a lot of support. Where do you get it from?
Well, I think, again, underlying the unyielding faith, we've always knew that God would get us through. But Jim's family, both of our families, Jim's parents have been a huge, tremendous support. Jim's sister, who took Gabrielle in when she was little, because in the beginning, we both had to be at the hospital before Sam was born. So our families and our friends and, close school friends who would say, hey, we need somebody to come, we gotta run, we gotta go. And not even ever really having to ask, people just knew, hey, I need to be there for that family. So, but Jim's parents were a huge help to us,
Terrific.
always there.
And a little bit of love being poured down from heaven.
A lot of love.
Wow. I know you're, and it was a blessing for me to share your vows way back when I still think you were kids. But sometimes marriages always have a little stress, Tell me about that and how that makes you stronger.
Right. It's unbelievable to know that, the statistics say that a lot of families that have a situation like ours end up separating because they can't handle the stress. I mean, there is a lot of stress daily, even without the hospitalizations. And I think that Jim and I have we had unconditional love from the beginning. We truly loved each other. But I think as the years went on, we also just have grown in our respect. And I even asked him the other day, like, what do you think keeps us together? And he said, well, look at our family. And it's true, we always are focusing on, they're here, they're alive, our daughter's sane, we're stable, we have bills, but we have a house, so looking for the positives and remaining balanced and not having us both be cranky on the same day. One of us always has to be in check, so.
The faith and the joy that comes, there's lots of families out there that might have some material things but don't have the joy. I don't know why. And sometimes I wish I could give it to everybody or share it with everybody. And I've always said this, that with all of the great holding hands and hugs and kisses, sometimes the greatest kiss, maybe I said this to you when you were younger, sometimes is the little tear in the cheek that someone you love kisses.
That
Doesn't
is,
get much better.
that's right, that's right.
We're all going to be having a tear in our eye here. But it's okay. It's okay. Tell me about, you found God in so many ways. Something that you might have experienced or put in your book that you like to just share.
Gosh, I just think that, again, the boys are such a modern day miracle, God has always been there. And I just feel like the story is meant to be told. Somebody was talking to me one day and they said, oh, well, don't you think God could heal James? Don't you believe in miracles? I responded with, look at him. He already is a miracle. I mean, he's here, he's alive. And the story is about courage and faith, a real live story. Not a big flash of light. It's an ordinary family, believing and moving forward with courage.
A long time ago, someone told me that every story is a story about God. And certainly your story is a beautiful story of God. Tell me now, there are other families at times who you might interact with or maybe are watching our show. What needs do they have, or how do you help them, or what would you like to say to them, or how can the church even help folks like yourselves?
Well, I think that the church is trying, and I think, society in general is trying, but until you're, faced with a special needs situation, you don't realize how difficult it is out there. And, we're a middle-class family. We're not rich enough to just buy what we need and want. We're not poor enough to get help. So you know, you keep looking, you keep searching, and like the story, throughout the story, we're searching for normal. You know, we want to be able to go to a ball game or to the movies. And I think that until you walk the road, you know, what's that saying? Until you've traveled in someone's path, you really don't understand. And I want to tell this story because they look like they could, you know, especially Sam, he can jump out of that chair, but he can't. And, you know, just being outside in the cold, he could end up in a hospitalization. Neither one of them can fast, or they can end up seriously ill. So, you know, again, the metabolic special needs is quite intricate, you know, this whole genetics. And I think that the world is trying to accommodate more for, you know, handicapped, if you will. But we still have a long way to go.
Just this summer, or actually before the summer started, there's some folks that I've been a little part of, and they're actually trying to do some things with education and even Catholic school and special needs. There's a growing, swelling, beautiful people that are getting together, and maybe even when I call you back, we'll talk a little bit more about this. But I think that there's some wonderful things are happening, and maybe
I actually was part of that meeting.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it is. It's good to see that
good.
we're moving because, you know, again, the public school has for what the special kids need. And, you know, I keep saying to my husband, especially for Sam, who's cognitively appropriate, you know, what does he need? He needs God. God is what he needs. Sure. And I think, again, the message that I want to leave to my children is if they have God in their life, they will have all that they need. You know, that's really the whole premise. You know, if you have God, then you can survive anything.
And God comes with moms and dads and beautiful daughters and sons. Is your book complete? What's
The book is complete.
How long did it take you to write
it's
it?
a 280-page memoir, nonfiction, you know. It's taken me quite some time to write. It began as just journaling and documenting the events and, you know, just so that I could kind of grow from it. And then I felt a couple years ago this inspiration. It was approaching James's 10th birthday. And I felt that I really was called to write it and make it into a book. And I kept listening. And every time I'd go to Mass, the homily was like, well, use your talents, or, you know, what is your calling? And so I started putting it together and making it into my story, you know, our story.
So blame us guys.
Blame you guys. I'm listening, you know. Here I am, Lord.
You're listening, and we're going to listen. Marianne and Gabrielle and Sam and Jimmy, thank you so much. A beautiful story of God. All of us are one family. Please let us root for each other, hug each other, kiss tears with each other, but know that there's a great God who loves all of us very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, honey.
Amen.
Bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
What a beautiful, beautiful family. Gosh, it's an honor. It's an honor for me to say.